Okay, I think we are ready to do the 10-inch. So if we're ready to do that, we'll get right into it. One thing that's given me confidence, though, is when I was in Okinawa, we were up at the northern training area, and it was a moist day, and we were on a map and compass course, and we were up on the side of a peat hill, just like peat moss, exactly is what it was. Oh, and if you notice, I've got it oriented straight out, the pearl, and I'll put the Evans straight out. But anyway, we were humping along, and it started to rain. And all of a sudden, the peak that was under me started to give out. And I knew about 20 yards down was a cliff. It was about 300 foot high. And at the bottom of it was the Shinkau River, which is probably about, at the time, probably 8 inches deep. And the rest was rock. So if I would have hit, if I would have gone off that, I would not be doing this right now, today. Okay. And anyway, as I was sliding down that peat, it was a scary situation, and it was interesting because there was one little sapling on that whole side of that hill. And I grabbed hold of that little sapling. It was probably maybe 3 or 4 feet tall and skinny. And I grabbed hold of that sapling, and just as I did, it whipped around, and a branch from it went into my right ear and perforated my tympanic membrane, my eardrum, and that was that didn't feel too good. But here I was hanging on the side of this cliff, close to it. I was only like 3 or 4 yards from the actual cliff. And I was hanging on for dear life, and the men I was with, they threw me a rope. And of course they couldn't come down, because then that whole side of that mountain would have collapsed. So from where they were, throwing me a rope was the best idea. And I got medevac from the northern training area. It was interesting. And before that, they had me as a mortarman. I was infantry to start off with, and they put me as a mortarman. And so I had a 60 millimeter mortar, and myself and this, I was like a boot lance corporal. And this, let me press down this, get it crinkling here. There's some crinkles. And this sergeant who was with me, he always liked to play my A gunner, and he would grab the round and get it ready and have it sitting in the edge of the tube, and I'd sight it in. As soon as I got it sighted in, I would say gun up, and I would pull away, and he would drop that round down that tube, and we'd get, I forgot exactly how many we could get going and shoot before the first one hit. It was kind of fun. But anyway, I was ready, and I was sighting it in, and this captain walked behind us and says, "Y'all hurry up and get that gun up." And my head was right up against the tube. If I'd had a helmet on, I wouldn't be here today. And I heard him drop that round. And we're going to do this at 77 as well. I heard that round go down that tube, and kaboom! And that screwed up my left tympanic membrane. So then I had my right tympanic membrane was done in Okinawa, and they fixed them both. But I was worried that I was going to lose my ability for sound. And I went in the Marine Corps when I was 17. But it was, my parents had a Buick Electra 225. And I tuned that thing up. And there was a guy who worked for GM that lived across the street from us. And he saw me tune it up. He had all kinds of tools. And he come walking over and he says, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm just trying to tune this up." And he goes, "Sounds pretty good now." He says, "Drive it across the street and let's put it on the dynamometer," whatever he had, whatever you call those things. I'm not a mechanic. And I think I was like 1 degree off by ear. But what's interesting is after the Marine Corps doesn't have any doctors. We use the Navy doctors. And after they repaired my ears, I've got friends who have hearing aids and everything else. And when I would take one of those tests, they'd try to trick me because they would see just a straight line down at the bottom. And of course, they wouldn't look in my record to see exactly if I'd had anything done to my ears. And then they'd ask me, "How come you didn't go in the Navy? You could have gone into sonar or something, man. Your hearing is exceptional." I said, "Well, thanks to you guys, it is." I don't have a clue how they repaired my ear. And then after I retired, I was at the VA down in Tucson. And I was having my eyes checked. And this lady doctor, she says, have you ever been around explosions? I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I spent 22 years in the Marine Corps. Yeah, why? She says, because you have a torn retina. They didn't fix it. She said, if you start seeing starbursts or anything like that, she says, you need to get in right away. Okay. And once in a while I'd see some starbursts, but nothing big, you know. It wasn't a whole lot. It didn't last, but just a second. And so I never went in for that. And then I started having vision problems. And they checked my eyes. And they're like, well, you've got cataracts. And they're pretty bad. And they said, but they're not bad enough for the VA to authorize surgery on them. I'm like, okay. So the following year I go in there. And the eye doctor says, yep, it's time. He says, it looks like they're pretty active there and grew pretty quick. He says, so, he says, at least the left one did. He says, so we'll get you in to have the left eye operated on. I'm like, okay. And so I go to get the left eye operated on. And they don't do it at the VA here, so I had to go out in town. And I used the Veterans Choice thing. And used a civilian doctor. And he was awesome. All those people were awesome. And, you know, of course, it takes a couple of months to get an appointment. The VA, you got to go through the VA, then they got to approve you. They tried to send me down to Phoenix, which was like a 2-hour drive. But the doctor from Phoenix says, why are we going to do that? He says, that's kind of crazy. So he told them they should just keep me going up here and have the doctor do it up here. And so when they gave me the eye exam up here, I mean, I had enough eye exams to last me a few years. It seems like. The doctor up here says, the civilian doctor, he says, well, I can tell you right now, he says, your right eye's got a cataract on it too. It's got to come out. And so they fixed my left eye. And I guess I was flailing around, is what the way the doctor put it. But I have a pretty good black eye. And it's kind of funny, I would joke, and when people would see me, I'd tell my son that, I'd tell everybody, my son beat me up, gave me a black eye. But everybody knows that wasn't true. I was just joking. And I went to a funeral service. And if you have seen the movie where the people have, their eyes are black, I mean, like you can't see any iris or anything like that. It's just black. That's how my eye looked. It was pretty gnarly looking. And after the service, they were going to eat, so I wore a patch. And there's a young man there. He tells his parents, look, a real pirate. yeah, that when I told him, see, I'd had my neck operated on before, and so I told the eye doctor, I says, you know, when they operated on my neck, I woke up during surgery. And I said, so I have some anesthesia awareness. And so he says, okay, so the anesthesiologist, he took that into consideration. And I told him, plus I get sick after I get nauseated when I come off of the, when I come off of the medication, the drug. So he took that into consideration. Sure enough, I woke up during the eye surgery and I saw geometric figures. I guess the doctor had fractured the cataract, but hadn't sucked it out yet and replaced it. And he just says, "Don't move." And the next thing I know, I was out again. But then when I woke up, I got sick. And so, anyway, that only lasted about 5 minutes. And then I go to get my right eye done, and they got me under, and for some reason, my respirations got really shallow, and everything just, I started going downhill real quick, so they had to stop the operation. And you know, I was in recovery probably 3 hours, a good 3 hours or so, and it's pretty bad because I can read an EKG, I can read heart rhythms in my dreams, and I was laying on that on the gurney there, and there's a machine behind me, and I'm looking at it upside down. I couldn't make any, I couldn't tell hide nor hair from what those rhythms were showing. I was looking at it upside down. But then it gave me an idea of what it's like to be on that side instead of the other side helping. But then the second time, the other day when they did the surgery, everything went perfect. They gave me some stuff, anti-nausea medicine, and even put a patch behind my ear. Like I said, I'd never been seasick, never been airsick, and I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I felt great. I didn't get sick or anything. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think we did it. Like I say, it took 18 minutes. But if y'all got any ideas or anything, feel free to put it down in the comments. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. And I'm going to go put this back on the drum set. And we'll go in for a test run just like I did a while ago. And then after that, I'll edit all this and get it onto YouTube so y'all can see how I did it. Okay? Have a good one.